Hey guys, welcome to Gwent. Let's check out the changes in the upcoming patch. And without further ado, let's get started. So, changes. Rank system. Adjustments to the recent matchmaking change. You can drop below 1000 MR anymore. And that might look like a good change, but that basically means that they made 1000 0 and everyone starts at 1000. That means that basically 1000 is 0. You can't drop down below 0. And the point of an MMR system that doesn't start you at 0 is that it separates players faster. So you can go up and you can go down. And that's pretty important because those who just really suck at the game or maybe just playing badly on purpose or just trolling are gonna drop down to near 0. And the new players don't have to put up with that shit. Like some guy who's just like, I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, it's not really good. They can basically just start everyone at 0, but they just choose to like go with like 1000. Like ultimately it doesn't matter too much, but like yeah, whatever. Refund system. All premium cards will be disenchanted for full scrap and powder value. There's a 3-day period to mill nerf cards. Again, they got rid of the powder exploit that you can, well, call it what you like. That you can just turn powder into scrap. So they got rid of that, and they limited the time frame you can actually like refund the cards. And that's not a good thing, because those who are actually gonna miss their window will feel super screwed, and that's really not good. And also the system still encourages hoarding. So this system is total crap, unfortunately. I'm just gonna be like, go out and say it. Is this an improvement over the previous one? But come on, why use this? Why not just go with a system that just refunds you the difference of the change cards up to the maximum amount of cards you can include in your deck and you have. So for example, you have one legendary card and just a regular one, and you get 600 that got nerfed. You get 600 when the patch hits. Done. Like automatically. So if you like don't miss your time, because it doesn't really affect me. Like come on, I'm an active player, but those who are just like taking a break and coming back to the game later and just feel like, oh my good cards are nerfed now, and actually I can't mill them, that like I missed my chance, what the fuck, I guarantee those people will be pissed as heck. So the system is still shit. I'm just gonna be edgy with this commentary. I'm not gonna be like tippy-toe around. If it's bad, I'm just gonna say it's bad. And we're gonna go into detail if we feel like it's needed. If not, not so much. Creative life, black bar, obscuring vision, enemy choosing cards. Finally! I don't know why it took so long. That's definitely a good one. Fixes they got enhanced, so challenges are fixed. Fix the issues with the slow units and castles. So that's just bug fixes. And also these leaders played more than 3 bronzes, which wasn't really a big deal. We got improvements in game chat, notification friendlies, that is upcoming stuff, and new art, whatever. That's just the stuff that's gonna come out eventually. But here we go. Biting Frost has the ability of the current torrential rain, except it will only, well, I can just say it like easily. So it affects the one of the lowest units and only hits it by 2. So it's only gonna generate 2 value a turn, and it's basically like not worth playing unless you're playing it with some kind of synergy. So if you're playing it with Vault Hunt Hound, then you're getting 6 value out of it right away. Then it's just gonna like take for 2 extra a turn. And is that good enough? That's actually not bad. Actually, that's not bad at all, because consider something like a trebuchet that actually got changed as well. So for example, you can just put down trebuchet and it just keeps hitting for 1, and it's a 6 power right away. So compared to that, Biting Frost is it's okay. And that's mainly because that is the fact that Weather was ridiculous before. So, but without the Vault Hunt Hound synergy, is it worth playing? Not in 1,000 years. It totaled that card. Getting like 4 extra power on top of that does help, but without the synergy, forget about it. And even with the synergy, it's like, okay, is okay good enough to be played? That remains to be seen. Depends on the meta. But we gotta like talk about the other changes. Impenetrable fog, current ability, but only one of the highest units. So again, they got rid of units. That makes it more reasonable-ish. So, okay, fine. Again, you can get out some extra foglets with that. If the foglets stay on the board, it's okay. But again, you don't hit units, and that was a big part of its power, that you can just affect multiple units. And I think moving away from that is definitely a good thing, because, you know, sometimes getting double, triple, quadruple value, that should be just like 2 damage, and you're just getting like insane value right away. That's kind of bullshit. And really hard to balance. Damage 5 of the lowest units by 1. And they need to have the same strength. Lowest units. So if they have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then that only hits the 1. Then next turn it hits the 2 for 1. Then the 1 for 1. Then starts hitting the 3 for 1. Then the 2 for 1. And the 1 for 1. So it sucks. It doesn't really work. But if they, like, for example, they play like a bunch of tokens, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, you play it like BAM! All dead. Or maybe you like play it on the crones and you like do 2 damage to them because like you hit both 6s for 1. Like, is it a good vetter? Well, it's the only vetter that has the potential to do 5 damage. And I suppose if you're like really inching it out, so for example like some no-rare machine deck and just making sure that they all have the same strength, it could be maybe the best vetter. But for most people, it's gonna suck. Aromancy now plays a chosen bronze silver, vetter from the deck, so it cannot resurrect anymore, or just replace something from the graveyard. Scattering Storm, nerf from 3-2-1 to 2-1. I'm not sure that was needed, but fine. I guess they just wanna make the vetter counters like okay. They just wanna make them okay, so when you actually play a single row vetter counter, it actually gives you a point advantage. And it did slightly against Scattering Storm, but it's gonna be more so the case now. Also, Tremors went from 16 to 12, so that's also gonna be more reasonable. But would it worth playing? Actually, it's just not a bad card still. But again, are you gonna face like 6 enemies? That's a little bit more unreliable, but again, not so bad. You can get value from Tremors. Overdose, reworked, boost 6 random allies by 2, so it's the opposite of Tremors, and you can actually make sure to spam a lot of units. Of course, Thunderbolt Potion is like, you know, you gotta have 3 adjacent for 4 buffs on all of them. Overdose says like, hey, you just gotta make sure that you just gotta play them wherever. And it's ideal if you play a lot of units, but you wanna like evenly spread them out on the row. Because if you're like spamming even like on 1 row and 2 row, like the first 2 rows, then you're probably just better off playing the Thunderbolt Potion. So Overdose really only makes sense if, well, first of all, either you prefer small buffs for some reason, but they're probably not gonna strip the buffs away from you. Or you just rather like play like 2 units on the first row, 2 units on the second row, 2 units on the last row. If you're playing like that, Overdose is better. But even if you're like playing on 2 rows, like Thunderbolt Potion is probably gonna be better for you. Anyhow, Blood Curling Roar, Bear will be 11 strength from now, and it's doomed. So yeah, that's a big deal for eating it, and I don't know. The bear is okay. Bear is an okay counter. I don't feel like this was very much needed, but sure, it's kind of justifiable. Double cross decoy marching orders will boost now instead of strengthening. That's a big deal. So you can just like strengthen out like Morgwarg and like, yeah, get strong. And you can this mostly affected the units that just stuck around and were base strength based basically. Or just you can just resurrect. So this is like mostly a Skellige nerf in a way. Okay, the 9 power 7 gets weakened by half, running up. So it goes from 7-5-3, 15 strength, to 9-4-2. That's still 15 strength. But buffing him is less good because he not loses like 2 strength right now, but he loses half of its power. Rounded up, that's actually the damage he takes, like strength damage he takes rounded up. And actually he is better if you, in 2 turns, he is a 9-4, a 13, instead of just a, or is it better? Instead of a 12. So, Olgierd is still gonna be okay, but buffing him up is probably not gonna be that good. So, buffing up units is more like, actually just if you wanna interact with your graveyard, actually just talking about mainly Skellige here. Roach will be summoned before Gold card's abilities are resolved, so that actually matters with cards like Vilgefortz, that can just like, you burn down Roach, and you can just do something with that. And Mirva could be a good example as well. You can just return Roach to your hand. That is just something that like interacts with Roach. Roach runs out, and you send it back. Johnny, the ability won't trigger if a corresponding card is missing from the opponent's deck. So previously you were able to get rid of one of your cards, even if your opponent doesn't. For example, you just used it on a gold card, and if your opponent didn't have a gold card, you just lost the card. But that won't be the case anymore. And the opponent deck, so if you know for a fact, like, in a way you can just see that, hey, they don't have a gold card, like they have all in their hand. Operator, power change from 9 to 7. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Was it justified? I don't know. I guess we'll see. It was a powerful card in meta decks, but I don't know. Like playing like at least like 3, 4, maybe 5 power for its ability, just to give your opponent some crap. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. This is weird. This is weird to me. 9 to 7. We shall see. We shall see. I think he's still gonna be used. For example, if you like give yourself a give yourself a useful card that's just completely useless for your opponent, then that's good. Especially if you do it last round. Last round, this card is a beast. Many times it's used first round, but last round is the best because you give your opponent a shit card and they can't get rid of it. They can like mulligan away. And Renew is properly dead now. Now restricted to the owner's graveyard. Well, how it used to be in the closed beta, and it's actually not a terrible card like that, but well, that's basically all good I can say about it. Like, it still could be good if you're like playing strong card that you want to replay twice. Could be, for example, it could be good in like some kind of a mill deck, like you just like slam down T-board and slam down T-board again. It definitely is gonna be more situational now, and that's probably a good thing. But it's also bad news for the free-to-play players, those who just want to pick up cards that are useful in many factions, and Renew was one of them. However, now not so much. So, rip in peace, Renew. We're probably gonna see you from time to time, like, not much. Delta Mert gained 4 strength, but only triggers once. That's actually could turn out to be a buff. I'm not really sure what was their intention, because 8 strength gold card that burns down, and that's not bad. That's really not bad, because, for example, Igni is like a 4 strength 4 strength gold card that burns 1 unit, so it's kind of comparable to that. And Villain Traitormark, I guess, can be played around more. But many times the worst case scenario is like, you play Villain, you play a Spy, the Spy dies. Like, that's still good, right? That's really good. So, Villain, we might just welcome back our Dragon Overlord. And actually, it was not gone whatsoever. So, I don't know. We shall see. The only problem with Igni, for example, that now he's like straightly compares to Igni, that he's just like a little bit more situational Igni, but they, instead of just requiring 20 strength to 1 row, it's more time, and maybe they may play around that. Who knows? I think this could be considered the buff. He's not gonna be a win condition anymore, I feel like. But also he could be very strong in decks that make the strength of your opponents similar, the same. So for example, like no realm machine deck, something like that. Still, I don't. This kind of moves him away a little bit from being a win condition and move him towards like an auto include in like small medium power decks. I would like 8 power from 10. He was pretty good in decks that just well, or you just like in a meta where your opponent just didn't too much, but mainly in decks that wanted to go for the long play. If you extend the round and your opponent is in the frost, in the bloody whatever weather, and they're just getting murdered all the time, all he wants to do is just to end the round ASAP and just like, hey, am I good or not? But if you just extend the round by 2 turns, then you just, all your weather effects, everything else is just gaining power over the turns, is gonna just gonna get even more value. So Avalak was really good for that. Also, your deck might not be like something that can easily get disrupted, but Avalak might just like make your opponent draw into a bunch of crones that just completely mess him up, or just foglets or stupid shit like that. And your opponent's not gonna love that. Rage's High Vampire will boost himself by base power for choosing unit. So used to just consume it like the whole thing, like Spotter 20 points, yum. But not so much. You can still use it to just shut things down. And it's probably gonna be like a consume option now. Revit from 5 to 4. Actually, to 5 from 4. Yeah, I guess needs a little love. Revit is situational. Like, if the meta is gonna be very ability heavy, then he might be good. But if your opponent only plays like maybe one card that can be shut down, like, would you really play this card for like, actually we're now 13, and you like and you're locking up one guy that's like, how strong that would need to be compared to other leaders? Like, the lock would need to be very impactful. So again, his presence is completely reliant on very ability heavy meta. Shani, 4 power from 3 and add 4 armor instead of 3. I guess this could make her a solid card in no realm, because you can just get 4 power on top of a silver, and that's pretty good. Especially if that's a very influential silver. Bloody Baron bug fixes now move to the top. Yeah, that's just bug fixes. Priscilla, 4 power from 5. Won't boost self anymore. The ability will discontinue after 4 turns. Won't go back into the deck anymore. Alright. So it doesn't go back into the deck. It just takes time to buff up stuff on the board. I guess that's not so bad. And that's basically all you can say about Priscilla. She's definitely not a Templar play. You just, hey, play her, and she just buffs stuff up. She's not particularly exciting, but I guess she might be okay for value. She's definitely not something you wanna just top deck. Dandelion will shuffle the deck after boosting. Yeah, he didn't shuffle the deck before. That was actually good information. Prince Tennis from 5 to 7. We gotta see the machine deck. Previously was not used, so kind of impossible to judge him. Power change from 3 to 4. The field medic. I guess that's reasonable. Boost appearing no machine allies by 1 and machines by 2 plus 1 armor. So Cadman Siege support got nerfed, and Cadman Siege platform got buffed from 2 to 3. So basically, like, all across the board, the machine deck could just no ram get buffed up. Heavy carrier from 3 to 4. Trebuchet power change from 2 to 3. Won't ignore armor anymore. Yeah, not ignoring armor anymore is a thing. So reinforced trebuchet power change from 5 to 6. And it used to be a 6 in the closed beta. You just play that, and it was okay. It was generating value. And maybe it's gonna be still okay, but it doesn't ignore armor anymore. So we shall see. Reinforced ballista won't ignore armor anymore. Ballista. Again, everything's getting buffed up, and this could add up, like 1 strength of everything, basically. Radiant Knight is not agile, and that's a big thing because, well, kinda depends, but if you can put him in the weather, then he's just gonna continuously generate power. Other thing that you have to, like, watch out for, that he actually needs to be the one that gets triggered, but he's the one who gets hit by the weather. So it probably would need to be a fog, because the weather gets rid of his armor, he gets stronger again, and he just keeps getting stronger. And unless he's the only one on that row, or he's or against the fog. Brazilian Knight could be a good option, but I don't know. I'm not so sure we're gonna see that much better in the next patch. Brazilian Elite, power change from 5 to 6, armor change from 3 to 4. Okay. Sure. So all around buffs, and Harpy actually got nerfed from 4 to 3. So she's a 5 strength when you drop her, and her eggs are just 6 more on top of that. So she's like an 11 combined. Also, like, you probably want to go for the consume synergy with these changes. And the Foglet went from 6 to 7. And that could be a thing. You can just like play these Foglets and they get stronger beside the fog. Maybe the Foglet deck? Who knows? If anything, well, Vault Hunt is pretty dead. The Vault Hunt is still big. Actually, that's okay. I would rate it like a 12 strength, which is really excellent for a bronze. And Ciliano Harpies are getting a lot weaker. Maybe the Foglets are gonna be good enough because they get stronger at the side of fog, and it really shouldn't take that long. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Foglets. The weather is definitely a lot weaker now, so I would most likely expect some kind of consume monster action to, if anything, from the monsters to really work. Nitra, power change from 4 to 7, no longer has armor, frost damage is increased to 3 from 2, but frost is complete garbage now, and even before Nitra was complete garbage, so see you later! Yeah, the bottom taunt is a 4 now, so that sucks. Environmental, power change from 6 to 7. That card is good. That card generates tokens. That's not 13. What's wrong with that card? I like it. That's a really good card. 13 strength, silver. Sign me up for that. KNT, power change from 5 to 7, moves 3 enemies instead of 5. Biting Frost changes apply to him. Yeah. But that kind of doesn't make sense. They kept his ability, but moving people into the row of the Frost doesn't make sense anymore because Frost only hits 1. It's also the weakest one. That means the Frost will many times, well, sometimes will hit a unit that has 1 power, so it actually does half as much as it should. So even 2 is not like, sure, 2 is okay, but okay, is a guy that spawns. Actually, another card like Jotun, like, he's like complete garbage now. You get moving people into the Frost. Like, come on. Doesn't make sense. There's nothing that really murders them, so these cards are really bad now. And current tier, is it really worth playing a gold card with 7 power that spawns Frost? Keep in mind the Vault Hunt is a 4. And this is a 7 that spawns Frost, so like, yeah. And moves enemies. So whatever the value of the move enemy. So moving 3 enemies, like, if we give that like 1 value each, and maybe we can like justify this card as okay. But moving enemies would need to worth it. Is it worth it? I don't know. At best, this card is okay, but that would probably make him like complete garbage. So power change from 6 to 5, and its ability to trigger at the end of the turn. So basically a Ratasur now, a very risky Ratasur, and you no longer have the chance just to act before them. So yeah, but she's a little bit weaker. So even though the fact that they can shut her down, and she is the best card to shackle in the game, I don't know, they might not have the counter, because that's usually the case. I have a Mercenary is a loyal now, and a 2 strength, and you can just play all the clear skies, well, actually, rallies you want, and that kind of works. And Reed Sapper from 7 to 8. So I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of the Ava Mercenary spam in the closed beta, and I guess it's kind of back, because there's nothing wrong with that. You just play Ava Merc plus rally, and you just basically, you're kind of playing like a Reaver Scout that just gets out the unit, but it's a little bit better than that because you play 2 power, then rally out, and you get another guy. So you actually like thinning the deck by 2 instead of 1. So it works. I wouldn't be surprised to see this as auto include in. At least not really like you know, like dedicated decks, like, or maybe just auto include in everything. Of course, you wouldn't want to like get out your win condition, for example. Like if your win condition is just like something specific and you just want to save it for last, then you might not run this. But like in more generalist decks, having Mercenary is just awesome. The Obathon Trapper, power change from 5 to 6, and fireball trap will no longer obscure armor, ignore armor. Damages by 2 instead of 3. So it's weaker and stronger a little bit. Mostly just weaker. But still, it's still an excellent card because you can just throw a trap. Well, I would just consider this weaker. Because ignoring armor before, plus a lacerate, but still this is an excellent card. So yes, we're gonna see more of that. Dover Mercenary changed from 5 to 6. So it's actually a 6 plus 3 plus move. And with Dennis is actually a 10. So that's not so bad. Especially if you're just moving stuff that maybe gets extra value or moving stuff out of the weather. Not really sure how common that will be. Ida! Impenetrable Fog changes apply to her. Yeah. Yeah. Crap. So all the mages right now, with all their super spells, are... Wow. I kind of got weaker. Especially like one Hammer. Imagine like his Biting Frost is like garbage and his Tremors is okay. His Tremors is like still making him as 15. But still, it's a big change. Synthesis, power change from 7 to 9. I'm not sure this justifies playing it. 8 lane, power change from 4 to 5. Yeah, it was included in many decks. Other than like scoia'tael, maybe that's what they're going for. But still should be like an okay card. But definitely less of a reason to run it. It basically went from like a 16 to a 15 now. And that could be a big change. Because like 16 is ideally what you're looking for. With the golds. And actually the power level a little bit went down because Renew will be out, like 8 lane will be out, so maybe you're just gonna look for like a lot worse cards. Alchemist, power change from 7 to 8, that's with Reveal Nilfgaard. Oh, Spotter to a 3 to 4. So Reveal Nilfgaard getting a little bit of love, and they definitely struggled with the power department. And Sereth went from a 7 to 9 as well. Maybe that's actually gonna work. Who knows? But the thing is, if you just like ruin one of their cards, they might just like get rid of it. So I don't know, Sereth. And even Embrace, power change from 4 to 6. And I really love that change because before he was basically a decoy, and now he's like he's actually like okay, I think this could work. This could work. Actually, the activability of Van Hamar went a little bit down, but this could work because he is basically a 6 strength decoy now, and that just makes him a gold, and that kind of like good enough. Actually, especially with the other changes, like John Cavett won't be able to play gold cards. Imperial Golems will play it before John's ability is triggered. Yes. Not being able to play gold cards basically makes him a 3+ at max a silver, and before that. It was like a 3+, like I would like value like a gold card like a 16. So it was like a 19. But now he's gonna be like at most like a 16-ish, like 3+ a 13-ish silver. So that's a huge change, and that makes him one of the weakest leaders in the game. And I don't know, that doesn't seem like a really good one. And we really can't consider these Imperial Golems. Like, I've seen this argument like, oh yeah, but you gotta add Imperial Golem into every Nilfgaard leader's ability. But no, that's not how it works. Unfortunately. Those are separate. Stefan Skellen, power change from 9 to 10. Okay, he was a bit unpopular, but with the recent changes, he might be okay, actually. Especially in like combo-ish decks. So, for example, if you're doing a Lato D-Bomb deck, then it's gonna be good. But of course, if you're doing a deck like that, you might just want the deck thinning. That's the thing with Stefan, like, you know, if you don't have the deck thinning, then you want Stefan. But if you do have the deck thinning, that is actually usually the good thing, because deck thinning usually costs you almost nothing, or best cards are deck thinners. So yeah, so we shall see. But Stefan still could be a good option. And as a 10, it's gonna be a lot more tempting to use it. Leo will damage the revealed unit's base power by the revealed unit's base power. So no more hitting for 20 with the spotter. So probably you're just gonna hit with the Leaf Guardian Knight for 16. And that's a big deal, actually. That's a really big deal. But of course you can just always just get out the guy, and yeah, that's okay-ish. So it's definitely not a bad card, but the thing is, they kind of give a little and they take away, because Leo wasn't such an auto-include. So I don't know. I'm not so sure that the reveal went up, and ultimately, of course, it is a little bit stronger against those who don't run big minions. But before that, he could just like Leo can just nuke somebody. And that's no longer the case. Of course, it kind of makes sense, because Leo was like crazy good, and everything else sucked. And now it's kind of like more balanced now. More power change from 8 to 9, weakened by half, rounding up. So it's basically the same thing as all gear now. It's okay. I think it's still gonna be pretty good, because the thing is, what is not talked about in these Gwent streams is that Morgvark can give you a card advantage. The fact that he stays on the board is quite important. And he still gives you like 9, 4, so he gives you like 15 power. That's pretty good for a silver card. And if you only have it for like 2 rounds, that's 13. So, excellent, I would say. Savage Bear. Power change from 67, no longer hits spawn units. Fix the bugs related to Savage Bear. Yes, Savage Bear hits units on both sides, and I'm not and he actually wants stronger. So, and not only played from hand units. So he's definitely weaker, but he actually works with Battlecry now, and probably is gonna work with X-Men too, because the X-Men have shield on them, so you can just like play them, and the bear hits anyway. And 7 power, you don't need too much on top of that to gain some value. 7 power is pretty good already. You can just play that, and it hits every unit your opponent plays. Of course, it hits also every unit you play, but you have power over that. You can just like, hey, I want to play some Warcry dudes. And you play them, they get wounded, and hey, now suddenly the bear's downside is an upside. And let's just say, I don't think bears are gone just yet. Anyway, Clan and Crate Warcrier, the effort effect is removed. So you can just, this is the thing that combines well with the bear, that if you see wounded units now, you can just buff them up for free. And the Clan and Crate Warcrier actually is a 7 strength card, so you don't need to get a lot out of that to really make it a very valuable move, a very valuable card itself. Counterboard Shieldbaiter, remove veteran. Still a 15, maybe gonna be fine, but I think it's still gonna be basically an auto-include. Kinda depends on your ability, a little bit depends on your ability just to like wound your opponents. Well, we shall see. Clan Thursday Jacksman. Remove veteran ability, power change from 2 to 3. So, I don't know what they consider that. Like, they just removed the veteran, which kinda like 0, 1, 2. And they just made him 1 stronger. Sure. I would say, well, last round, it could be like, of course, you can always banish the X-Men with this. Because last round, you could just play an X-Men, it gets like this stupid shit. It gets Mardrum, for example, and it doesn't die. It just goes down to 1 and it starts buffing up again. With this, it's always gonna die, so maybe a little nerf, but it's basically like, who cares at this point. And it has the same armor as well, so it's always a 5 now. I could save it from like 4 damage that some units can do. Anyhow, Berserker Marauder, power change from 6 to 8. Strength itself by 1 for each damage ally instead of Emir. Again, this is just, they're really pushing the Warcry deck, and this might be just it, like, oh yeah, we're gonna nerf Skellige, and everyone's gonna play Warcry next time. Can be. Power of Heimdall changed from 11 to 16. Yeah, screw Canby. Like, come on, I don't like that. It's such a stupid card. It may be fun to see now and then, but no. Yama, power change from 15 to 13. Lord of Undvik is doomed and can be locked. Yeah, but if you lock it up, Hjalmar still gets strong? Whatever. The better nerf does affect this quite a bit, but the Shield Maidens are kind of the same, and Poker Blackhand is the same, so it shouldn't be too hard to trigger it. So instead of a 25 gold card for free, you get a 23. I think we're still gonna see play from that. Power change from 67 of Ermion. So this card is a little bit pushed here. Note, still updating non-highlighted changes based on VOD. So okay, that's about it. Okay, let's see the top comment. Wait a second. Oh, that's just corrections. So that's it. Yeah. Vata needs some love, most definitely. And they just realized that very strong. And I don't think it's the last we've seen of Skellige. And scoia'tael definitely gonna come back strong. But ultimately, it's just hard to say what's gonna come at the top. Looks like Nordrealm and funny enough, Skellige is getting big buffs. Well, we shall see. We shall see. I'm a little bit worried for the F-Guard and monsters, so. But I no doubt that people are just gonna figure out the patch in like a few days, and everyone can run his favorite copy-paste deck. Because Reveal didn't really get that much stronger. Like, it got a little stronger, but like Leo got weaker. Also, like Calvin got nerfed in a whatever. Like basically, like that's it. And Emir got buffed, but Emir was complete garbage. Not like they buffed something good. They buffed the worst leader to not garbage level. That doesn't make him great. He's just usable. And could be good with Mano. Like for example, you send back Sai and you just blow both spies up. That is a good thing, for example. So yeah, the power level of Reveal went up a little bit. The power level of Warcry went up a lot. And the bear, questionable nerf. And even Morgvarg is like, get weakened by half. Like, unless you're like buffing up Morgvarg, the change is not a big deal. He's basically gonna get like same strength out of that. Well, and it's really hard to say. Come on, Skellige is definitely not dead. Nilfgaard Reveal is a slightly stronger, but like Calvate is even worse. Monsters basically dead. Only mainly wanna hear about the consume archetype. Consume archetype might work, especially now that the eggs don't get popped all the time. So I expect something to consume archetype. Really Knight, now Agile, of course, could be good. And it's really hard to say what's gonna happen to Norram. Norram is a little bit like a surprise because a lot of people are already playing it. It can give you a lot of power, but it seems like they are not really like buffing up the best options, but the less popular options. So we shall see. And from what I've seeing, the R2's adapt is not changed, so you can still play her as like a 4+ any weather you like. And that basically makes her the best like straight up point advantage, like just point on top of a weather. And I don't know if X-Men is gonna be good enough with the new weather, but I wouldn't count that weather just yet. Anyway guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching and see you next time.